Mike and Jeff. Yeah.
All right.
Good morning. The board has now returned from closed session and will begin the regular session of the Keys Union School District Board Meeting of Trustees. 4.1, report out closed session items. We have nothing to report out. 4.2, amendment agenda. Do we have anything?
No, the only item was the appendix B on the preschool salary schedule.
But that's just an update for us. It wasn't a change of the agenda.
Not a change on the agenda, no.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve?
I motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to the flag salute. Mr. Green?
Everybody please rise. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Invitation to address the board on closed session item or on open session items? We have none. Moving on to 7.1, first day of staff return for the 2021-2022 school year is August 9th. 7.2, first day student return for the 2021-2022 school year is August 11th, and that is also a minimum day. Moving on to presentations, we have none.
The only thing I have that I'll share during this, it's really a communication, but we received a thank you card for the board from Della, thanking you for the flowers and her gift.
Oh, nice.
Della.
Della.
The cafeteria Della,
Yeah.
the one that you made stay for the whole meeting.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to consent agenda items. Action prepared for the consent calendar are consistent with adopted and approved policies of the district and are deemed routine in nature. They'll be acted upon in one motion without discussion unless members of the board request that an item be removed from the consent calendar. In that event, it will be taken up in the order indicated on the main agenda. Any questions from 9.1 to 9.2? All right, do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
We have a first, do we have a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to 10. Action items. Approval of certificated classified confidential management personnel actions. Questions or concerns? We have a motion to approve.
I'll motion.
We have a first. Do we have a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. 10.2. Approval of 2021-22 KUSD and KTL LCAP annual update. Mr. Brazil?
So this is the update portion of just the one-year LCAP, and we're asking that both, we had public hearings at the last meeting, and so we're asking that both the charters and the Keys Elementary or Union School District annual update be approved.
Any questions or concerns? We have a motion to approve.
I'll motion.
We have a first. Do we have a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to 10.4. Approval of KUSD and KTL local performance, no, 10.3. Approval of KUSD and KTL LCAP new 3-year plan.
So this is the new year. We had to submit an update and then begin the first of what is a 3-year plan. And so we're asking that you approve both the 3-year plan for KUSD and also for the charter school.
Any questions or concerns? So then will we have to update updates every year for that 3-year plan?
Every year. So then, for example, this year we submit what our goals are and what we are using as a metrics to measure whether we met the goal or not. And then next year, it will be an update that we submit
Report
stating
card,
where
right,
we
yeah.
are, basically a report card. Yes.
All right. Do you have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
We have first. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Now moving on to 10.4. Approval of KUSD and KTL local performance indicators self-reflection.
So these are, normally we would have test scores that would be released and other data, including attendance and absenteeism rates, all of that from the state. But because we were in COVID, testing didn't happen, so we needed the state assessments and data weren't submitted. So we had to, as our own district, look at our students and our own local measures and submit a report stating here is where we are, and here's where we made some progress, or here's where our, and to be honest, one of the biggest things that we shared is, we know that we've suffered loss, and we are doing our absolute best to assure that kids get opportunities to make up some of those skills that have been lost during that time. So that's, I'll ask that we approve both the KUSD and KTL local performance indicators self-reflection, and they're posted online with the state.
Any questions or concerns? Do we have a motion to approve?
I motion that we approve.
We have a first. Do we have a
I'll
second?
second it.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to 10.5, approval of KUSD and KTL 2021-22 budget overview for parents. Just the website one that we put on.
Yes, the single page that we put, it's a much easier to read document to share with parents that isn't, the 30 or 40 page budget that we have. So I'm asking that both of those be approved.
All right. Do we have any questions or concerns? Motion to approve.
I motion.
First, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to 10.6, approval of 2021-2022 budget adoption. We got this last board meeting. That's what we're mainly here today for us to approve.
Yeah, you first have to have, again, most of these things, we had to have public hearings, so that's what we held at the first meeting in June, and now at the second, all you're doing is approve it. So that people would have had an opportunity to share anything if they had concerns during that period of time.
Any questions or concerns? Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
We have first, do we have a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Jimmy jumping ahead on that
I
one.
just,
Moving on to 10.7, approval of KUSD and KTL 2021-22 education protection accounts.
And this is just to close out the year. We have to do those things as part of kind of housekeeping.
All right. Any questions or concerns? We have a motion to approve.
I motion.
We have first. Do we have second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to 10.14, approval of 2021-2022 consolidated application. No, 10.8.
Skipped one.
I was like,
I was trying to skip like Jimmy was skipping.
Oh.
10.8, approval of education, discovery education, science adoption. We had a public hearing last board meeting.
Correct. So this is approving the Discovery Education as the science adoption for the district. Again, it is lines up with the science standards as well as with our students who feed into Turlock, because that is also what they have adopted. So we're asking that the board approve.
Makes sense.
Any questions or concerns? My only concern last board meeting was that it was aligned with our filler school, and it was.
Mhm.
So, we have a motion to approve.
I'll motion.
We have first. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to 10.9, approval of KTL California Interscholastic Federation application agreement with Denary Unified School District for 21-22 school year.
So this is an agreement with our charter school, high school students who actually live in the district to be able to participate in sports in the CIF rules and regulations. They'll be charged about 88 cents. So per student, the district will be charged for them to participate, which obviously that's a minimal cost to do. But it will allow these students to participate in CIF tournaments and in play.
In years past, we've approved Waterford, correct?
Yes, and I think that this year, because there are more students that are, yep.
It'd be nice to have it in every district.
Well, if the students want to play, I think we've always
Yeah.
approved it.
And CIF has been very good about allowing that.
Yeah.
Any questions or concerns? Motion to approve?
I motion that we approve.
Oh,
Ooh, everybody wants that one.
I
That's a
don't
good one.
know.
I think Mike got it.
All
I think
right.
Wes got it.
He didn't say that. We have a first. We have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving on to 10.10, approval of resolution 21-2202 to establish temporary interfund transfers of special or restricted monies.
So this is at the end of the year. In order to close out the books, you do have to ship funds around that are either between a fund to make sure that they are solvent or that the expenditures indicated are correct. And if you've spent things, for example, that are restricted and they are, or they were, you thought that they weren't restricted and now they are, that then you still have an opportunity to make those shifts in funds. So that's all it is to close out the year.
All right. Any questions or concerns? Motion to approve.
I motion.
We have first. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to 10.11, approval of state preschool mentor support provider.
So this is to establish a mentor for a temporary mentor for the school year to assist with our preschool person, kind of having her as a mentor. So we are asking that our Head Start program person assist with that because she's familiar with the program, and that's so that the person who we have in preschool right now is going to school and needs some help in order to meet those requirements. So we're asking.
Someone for that?
Yeah, we've had a person for the whole.
But it sounds like they're in-house, right?
They're in-house,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just a stipend, basically, is what it is.
Any other questions? Concerns? Do we have a motion to approve? That was a good question.
Yeah.
I'll
Well,
motion.
I hate to say it, but it was related to another thing
I'll
we
s-
talked about earlier.
Second.
We have a first, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to 10.12, approval of CCSA ASES confidential and classified management salary schedule to reflect the 3.25 increase and one-time payment of $1,000.
So this is our agreement with the classified bargaining unit, as the same as what we had settled for the teachers, but we've settled now for the classified and with ACES after school.
Glad we got this put on before the summer break. Any questions or concerns? Motion to approve?
Motion.
We have a first?
I'll second.
Have a second? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to 10.13, approval of 2021-22 School Attendance Review Board, SARB, consult service agreements.
So this is what we use, for example, if there are 3 truant or unverified absences, that triggers a review by the site principal and by a committee there, whether it be the classroom teacher, the parent, a counselor, if that's appropriate. Then at 5 absences, they move on to the district office, and we meet with a team at the district office, meets with the parent, the student, tries to find out what have we done to support this, why are we seeing this number of unexcused absences, which then become truancies. And then SARB is at 10 days. Those, if we've been able to not make any effort, then we involve the county and we look at the School Attendance and Review Board, which is has sheriff's office, volunteers that sit on the board, and then recommendations are made to where the district attorney can even follow up with some kind of penalty for parents, which are laid out in the law, not necessarily by us. So it's a contract for them to see at least 10 cases per year, which seems to be about what we have had, and that's to pay for the paperwork, the processing, and it goes to
Our
the
share.
county.
Our share of the
So
the
we've
board.
had SAR for years.
Yeah, I'd say in the years past, though, we've done a lot of more in-house, and we've cut that number. It was much higher than 10 back in the day, and we just weren't using them.
Right.
All right, do we have a motion to approve?
I motion.
We have first, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Can you hear with the air conditioner on? We're okay. Moving on to 10.14 this time. Approval of 2021-22 consolidated applications.
The consolidated application is the federal funding piece that we submit every year, and it is to apply for any of the title programs, so Title I, Title III, Title IV, all of those kinds of funding. So I'm asking that the board approve the application.
Any questions or concerns? Do we have a motion to approve? Get one, Wes.
I'll make the
Oh,
motion.
Wes got it.
Aye.
We have a first. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to 10.15, approval of superintendent rollover of vacation days.
So I'm asking in public because it needs to be discussed in public. I am asking that 14 and a half days of my vacation be rolled over to next year, since I was not able to take it as a result of COVID, and I would have had to take off those 14 days either in June or July, which are not exactly great months for us to do that as we plan for the new school year. So the other option is that I get paid out in vacation, which I think is, I would much rather have some days because I'd like to take some days off. So I'm asking that the board approve because I am only allowed to carry over 7 and I have 14 and a half.
Well,
So it's
another 7.5.
And
Right.
that's something normally done in other districts?
It depends on the superintendent contract and what the district actually has in writing.
The Mino board.
But most districts, I can understand why they don't like people to roll it over because let's say I roll over those 14 days and then I cash them out next year. It's now at a
At a higher
different
rate.
salary rate,
Yeah,
and so
right.
it's costing the district more.
Yes.
I mean, I'm being as honest as I can be about
Will
it.
it make you happy and more
It will
productive?
make me very happy if I can have my 14 days off. I don't want-
Let's
I
add a 10.16.
Yeah.
no, I'm just,
I'll
so
have
again,
you.
I'm not getting
Okay.
any more money.
What does the superintendent want us to do? I'm just kidding. Any questions or concerns? Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Wow, you jumped on that
Well,
one.
that's
You
because
got a biggest fan over here.
My God.
We have a first, we have a second. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I.
Aye.
I hesitated just to scare you a little bit. But
We still went over.
moving on to 11 discussion items. LCAP update.
So our LCAPs are updated, as I shared with you earlier, though, we get 2 or 3 of them complete and we get another one added to the plate that has to be done by September, which is our ESSER 3 plan that for expending the ESSER 3 funds. So that has to be completed and we have scheduled already a committee meeting to look at those priorities and to look at what's allowed under it and what we want to do to use those funds. It will be a living plan, so whatever we come up with, because it's kind of strange that we've had, actually the actual plan template has not been released, the draft has, it will not be released until Friday at the earliest. And then we have to get this all in place during summer when everybody is gone and not being able to get stakeholder meetings by September. So we've scheduled them for August. And we'll go over those and then we have to submit the plan. So it's a very short turnaround, but what I want to share is that that plan is a living document and can be changed. So we want to meet the requirement of getting it in on time, but we also know that, hey, we can be, even if we're a little vague on some of the things, it's perfectly okay.
Who makes the changes?
What's that?
Who will be?
The same committee that will be put together. And then the board, it's actually one of those plans that does not require board approval, which is very strange. because
I was
most-
asking that for
Yeah.
that reason.
Yeah, no, that committee would.
One less thing on our.
Yeah.
We approve them anyways.
And so I kind of shared on 11.2, the COVID funding committee priorities list. They've already come up actually with a lot of those priorities, but I just want us to revisit and also to give them an update on what we've spent in ESSER 1, ESSER 2, and then on, so that they have an idea, okay, what can we still do with these and what's still needed? And always keeping in mind that these will be one-time funds, that we want to make sure that we're doing something that will be sustainable or something that will bring us long-term services.
Sure.
All right, moving on to reports. 12.1 superintendent report.
I honestly have no other thing to share other than summer school is going well. Our numbers are not as high as I had wanted them to be, but I think for a lot of parents and for students, they really needed a break from the routine. So but again, it's gone very well. We've visited the classrooms, things are going well. And that's really all I have. Staff will be finishing up at the end of this month. We have all of the staff computers have been looked at by DataPath to be having new updates and things installed and are ready to hand out. So I think we're well on our way for planning the first day back as a full day of all of the mandated trainings, because we have to do anything from heat exhaustion to child or CPS referrals, all of those things. We have to do.
EpiPens, all that stuff.
EpiPens.
Is that
So
gonna be in person?
that will, as far as we know, it will be in person in the cafeteria with spacing. But that, again, the only other thing I can touch upon is I've not sent anything out other than to say that our plan is to begin school in August with completely full days, and not cohorts or anything,
The most normal we
the
can.
most normal we possibly can. However, Cal OSHA has released some things that continue to say that while students are indoors, that they have to continue on with masks so that it's status quo and has not changed yet. However, the CDC and CDHP is meeting sometime in June or July, and they may make some different decisions. And so then I will update both staff and parents at that time. I don't want to keep sending information that's kind of doesn't say a whole lot. But again, our goal is to begin the year kind of as we ended it, that was as close to normal as we possibly can. The whole mask issue is something we'll wait to see what direction that takes us.
A lot of things can change in a month and a half.
Absolutely.
All right, moving on to board member comments, Mr. Emmons.
I don't have nothing.
All right, Mr. Green,
Nothing from me today.
Mr. Burnell.
No comment.
No comment. That sounds like you get a question about something. Mr. Greener.
No comment.
Come on.
I got one thing, and it's not really school related, but we all love serving the community of Keys, and it's always nice when we have hardships in the town, how we all get together and make things happen. We all love this community. Moving on to 13.1, next board meeting will be August 10th. Closed session at 5:30, regular session at 6. We have a motion to adjourn.
I motion.
We have a first.
Wes?
I'll second.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
See you in August. Yay.